Well, ladies and gentlemen, there is some fun stuff going on at Sunderland. We're at the end of January. We're in the transfer market. We're buying in new players, selling some old ones. We haven't conceded in 10 whole games in the league, which is amazing. Let's just jump straight right into this. Welcome back to the Zero to Hero series and our playthrough with a Sunderland, or at least a Sunderland part of this series. Well, as I mentioned, look at the run we're on. This is absolutely amazing. Since you were last with me, we did draw against Ipswich, which was 0-0. We then beat Coventry 6-0 in the league, which in itself is a ridiculously big scoreline. But Ignacio Vargas scored 5 of those goals. One of them was a penalty, 4 of them from open play. The man is just playing out of his skin. We then beat Charlton 1-0 in the FA Cup to progress in that. We can see we are facing Reading in the 4th round. It's in a couple of games' time. We drew against QPR and we've just beaten West Brom at 3-0 as well. Yet another goal from Ignacio Vargas because, again, the man is a monster. I don't really know with 10 finishing how he's actually scoring so many goals, but he is managing it. And as I mentioned, look at all of that. That is 10 games on the trot now where we have not conceded a goal. I think I said league games. One of them is an FA Cup game, so it's a little bit of a lie. But we aren't conceding. We're looking pretty good in the transfer market. Since you were last with me, we just have a look at the transfer history. UNBEATEN has also gone over to somewhere. He's gone over to Paramthia-Kos. I cannot say words. For £10 million. In Greece is where he's headed off. He obviously wanted to leave the club. He wasn't getting a huge amount of game time here. We mentioned this all in the last episode. So he's gone over there. We have reinvested a little bit of that money. We needed a new centre-back. So we've just bought in basically this guy, Jenson Quinones. He's Colombian. He's 31 years old. He was also free. Didn't cost us any money. He's just here to be a bit of a squad depth player. I don't really think he's, again, a player that makes a step up to the Premier League. But I think he kind of does the job right now. And again, he didn't cost us any money. The other player we bought in is Mark Hakanarsson, Icelandic 21-year-old defensive midfielder. He's best played as a deep line playmaker, but he can play as a halfback, which is what we've been playing with reasonably well as well. I mean, we can currently, the current ability of 4 stars. Good championship player, potential Premier League standard. I think he's definitely going to be a Premier League standard player when at this age he's already a really, really decent championship player. He's been kind of playing in there. Other stuff that's happened. Garcia has been recalled from his loan. Frankie Sterling got recalled. Gutteridge got recalled. Basically, I don't think we actually have, if we go and have a look, I don't think we actually have any loans at the club. Yes, we do. We have Luke Simon at the club, but we're almost not counting him as a loan because we've already paid to bring him to the club at the end of his loans. So we don't have any more loans. We could go back and get some if we feel like we are really, really lacking in some key area of the pitch. I think for the moment, we're kind of all right, bar injuries, which could completely derail us. So we have got, as we can see, this lineup for the match against Sheffield United, which is the first of our 2 matches. All of these are against teams currently in the top 4 or 5 as well, which makes this really interesting. We've got Peterson in goal. We've got a back 4 of Rek, Liddington, Selt and Sekete. You might be wondering why Liddington is there. It's because literally everyone is tired. This is what I'm saying about maybe we need loans. Maybe our squad depth isn't quite good enough. But it is a case of people being tired, other people having food poisoning and other small injuries. And it's all happened at the same time. I think it's unlikely to happen too often. We then got Sekete over on the right. We've got Kofod starting as our halfback today behind Simon and Sukti. Anthony over on the left, Hansen on the right. And Ignacio Vargas up front, our absolute star player now, maybe, question mark. I mean, he's definitely the guy scoring the goals. We said we needed a goal scorer. That was the main thing we needed to improve at Sunderland compared to last season. And I think you kind of look this season, we're top of the league. We look pretty decent. It's all pretty nice. I think he's definitely made that difference that we said he would by bringing it. We don't want only commentary, we want key highlights. By bringing in a player that can actually score those goals for us. It does help as well that everyone around him is also scoring, including Morgan Gibbs-White for Sheffield United. That's a less than ideal start. I don't think we've actually touched the ball with Sunderland yet. I think that was straight from kickoff. I mean, we didn't see the whole highlight because I pressed commentary only. but I genuinely don't think we've touched the ball and we're already 1-0 down. That's also the first goal that we've conceded in 10 games, which is just absolutely, you know, already a ridiculous achievement. We're not going to be keeping it going any longer by the looks of it. And it does mean that Sheffield United, as it stands, catch up with us because we were 3 points clear. But obviously, currently losing, Sheffield United, the only team who can catch up with us with this game. We'd rather they didn't. We'd rather have a win against them. And I think that makes it a 6-point gap at the time. My maths is all over the place. It's definitely not my strong suit. We're just going to drop to a balanced mentality, demand a bit more from the team here, in the hope that maybe we can get back into this. But Sheffield United away is always going to be a little bit of a hard game. We've not necessarily done the best of them away before. We can beat them at home, but you definitely feel they've got home advantage here, and they make full use of it when we go and play them in Sheffield. They're just like dancing around at the back here as well. Although Simon has, I was going to say, he's pressed enough to regain the ball. He kind of momentarily did it. He's done it again. Sucked now into Ignacio Vargas. Vargas rounds the goalkeeper, kind of, and just slots it into the bottom right of the goal for his 60th goal of the season. It puts us 1-1 against Sheffield United. That's exactly what we needed there with about 5 minutes to go to half-time. Simon, all important now. I think he won back possession twice. The first one, he lost it again straight away. But then we were able to get that ball up to Ignacio Vargas, and one-on-one with the goalkeeper, more or less. He doesn't tend to miss those. Seeing it from the other angle, I mean, he just stayed on side. It all came together absolutely perfectly there for us. If we could avoid conceding this right before half-time, though, that would be lovely. Morgan Gibbs-White is having a bit of a good game, isn't he? That's 2 for him today. 1 from open play, 1 from a set piece. Our whole thing about going in, drawing at half time, has very, very quickly fallen apart there. I don't feel like there was a huge amount we could have done about that one, apart from, you know, not commit the foul in the first place. But we're going to go out. We're going to tell the team that they've been unlucky so far, not done anything wrong. And I think in the grand scheme of things, that's probably pretty fair. No one's having an awful game by the looks of it, other than Jensen Selt is having not exactly the most inspiring game on a 6.2 defensively. But equally, I mean, we could bring on Quinones, but we'll kind of see how the second half starts, I think. Let's just get out there for that second half. We've done the team talk. Start the second half. Let's see how things go. Hopefully we can do a little bit better. If we could get a draw out of this, I think we'd be pretty happy with a draw. We have got a corner here. Anderson into Liddington, who does rise above everyone. I don't think he was even challenged there. If he got that on target, either side of the goalkeeper, I think, you know, that there is a pretty instant goal there, because the goalkeeper seemed pretty much just rooted to the spot. Anthony's gone back and won that one. Some wonderful pressing there from our inverted winger. And now Suckdy and Anderson linking up in the centre of the park before passing it out wide to Rhett. Can he play this one forward? He can't. He loses possession. He regains it straight away, crosses it into the box looking for Vargas. Doesn't find him, but we have recycled possession. Anthony now, and it clips the bar, I think, as it goes out of play. Very unlucky there from us. We had a really good chance there to draw level. I have just noticed Hansen has got a yellow card, so I tell him to ease off those tackles. Jason Selt still on a 6.2. I think after this highlight, it's time to make substitutions, and he needs to be the first man off the pitch because he's just not performing today. Gibbs-White on a hat-trick. Oh, no. Oh, this is just when you know that things are not going your way. I mean, we've had a really good run. Really, really solid, good run of 10 games where we haven't lost. We haven't lost and we've barely conceded. In fact, we haven't conceded. That was kind of the whole point of the intro, James. Get your info right. But then you have days like this. And I mean, what are you going to do about that one? Peterson kind of gets mixed up. The defenders get mixed up a bit. It all goes a little bit wrong. Jensen Selt now is on a 6.1. Get him off my pitch immediately. Quinones is going to come on for him. You guys can have a little bit of a look at Quinones. Eric Reck is not doing fantastic as well, so Harvey White is going to come on for him. Magne Hansen also on a 6.2. Hayden Farmer. We've recalled Hayden Farmer from loan, by the way, as well. So he's come back with Gutteridge going back to Norwich. I felt like we did need a little bit more depth. So Farmer has come back. He was on loan, as you remember, at Barnsley. He made 7 appearances and scored 2 goals. It wasn't more than that. It probably would have been but he was out for what, 3 months after getting a torn calf muscle very shortly after being there. So as it turned out, he didn't really get a huge amount of game time on loan, which is a little bit unfortunate, but it is what it is, really. He's now come back to us. And we are not doing fantastically here. I mean, I don't think we're getting back in this for a second, but we're going to try nonetheless. Sukti is going to come off, and then we'll have a Univar come on in central midfield. I mean, he does a job. It is literally, he does a job, though. And then who else have we got? We've got Hoye, we've got Clark, we've got Casanova. I mean, I guess you bring on Hoye over here for Anthony, and you just hope that because he's fresh, maybe he can make a bit of difference, but I don't think we're going to make that much difference in the remaining 6 or 7 minutes. It's annoying. It is what it is. We had a lot of big games all at once. It's just the one against Sheffield United we've had to rotate. Not heavily, but fairly heavily. We saw with the centre-back situation. Obviously, we got Ballard out. We've got Smith out. Neither of that is ideal because they're our first 2 choice centre-backs. And we've just struggled today. We've been unlucky at times and we've struggled and stuff like that. Look, like that first touch from Anderson, normally so solid. And today it is just not our day. It does look like Sheffield United are looking for a 4th here as well. We'd like to at least limit them on this, because at the moment, I think we remain top on goal difference. Obviously, if they keep scoring, every time they score, it's a +1 for them and a -1 for us. So they're gonna bring that deficit down. In fact, 1 more would do it, because we have a goal difference of +22. Theirs is currently +21. So we do remain top of the league, which is good, but it would have been nice there. If we'd won that one, we would have gone 6 points clear. Instead of that, it's 57 points apiece for both us and Sheffield United. The next team after us is Middlesbrough, and we have a game in hand on them. So we are still looking pretty secure at the top of the league. What we need to do now, though, in the next match, the absolute most important thing here, fuck, this is tired. Just don't be tired. I need you. The most important thing here is we've got our next match, which is against Stoke, right on the deadline day, I believe it is. There we go, right on deadline day. They're currently in 6th. We absolutely need to win that one. And then we go back to having a few easier games again. We've obviously got Middlesbrough at the end of February, who are currently in 3rd, which will be important. But for the moment, we just need to not slip up against Stoke. So we can see it is the day of our match against Stoke. It is also transfer deadline day. We've just come back because we have just made an offer for this guy, Cittadini. He currently plays somewhere in Italy, and I forget where already, Sassuolo. So we've made a bid because he's on the transfer list, I think. I can't remember why we made the bid, but 3.7 million for this centre-back, I think, is some good business. He's currently a championship level centre-back. He has the potential to be a decent Premier League player, and we are looking like we potentially are ending up in the Premier League next season. Star player, though. I mean, important player, we'll go with important player, and I think I can live with that. Let's see if we can just bring all of this down very, very slightly. Minimum fee release clause. I mean, again, can we get rid of that? Suggest those terms. I mean, we can't even offer you that much, so don't ask for ridiculous stuff. 25,000, I think we'd be perfectly happy with. We've also got our director of football having a look at some things. And he's making some bids for some players. So you can see he currently has bid to get this guy in on loan. I'm not entirely sure why. And if we have a look at the transfers a second, he's bid to pay 100% of his wages, which would be £10,000 a week. And it's kind of, this is the point where you look and you go, do we need him? I mean, probably not. We probably don't need him, so we'll just cancel that one. I always would recommend doing this. We have either our director of football or sometimes our technical director making bids for players as well, but we always have the option. So if it's accepted, we get to do the contract negotiations. We can also do what we just did and cancel them off if we absolutely need to as well, because we're not happy with it. So it's worth doing it because sometimes they do unearth some proper gems. So we're just going to go through this until we get to the Stoke match. We might be coming back with a new player. We might have made some bids, some other player. I mean, Chris Bailey looks pretty decent if we can get him for that sort of money as well, although we haven't got that extensive report. We're going to go do some shenanigans in the transfer market, and I'll be right back. So we've actually ended up signing 2 new players. Let's have a look at both of our new players. The first is Giorgio Cittadini, who we just saw, 26-year-old Italian central defender. Best played as a ball-playing defender. And a slight improvement on Kerr Smith, I think. They'll probably rotate between the two because, as we've noticed, we are struggling a little bit at centre-back. He ended up costing us 3.7 million to bring to the club. I think that's a good purchase, especially he could become a decent Premier League player. So maybe he's someone we can keep either as a squad depth player or as a starter if we head into the Premier League. And then our director of football has also brought in Billy Brown, who is a Scottish centre-back on loan from Liverpool. We're paying a little bit of contribution to him, but again, I think that's fine. The only other one that I imagine will probably happen after this game is Adam Davies, who's going to play over as a right winger. Although I'm looking literally since a minute ago he was like 5 stars over on that right hand side, and since I've clicked continue, I guess our scouts have actually looked at him and he's dropped significantly. But I do think we're asking him to come in as a squad player. He's got really good physicals and really good technicals, so he's probably worth bringing in over on that side. But for now, we just need to go ahead and focus on this match against Stoke. So this is the lineup we are going to be going for with that match against Stoke. Now we've got Peterson in goal. We've then got back 4 of Liddington, Ballard, Cittadini making his debut, and Sakete over on the right. We've then got at the base of my field, Hakanason. We've then got Vangelis and Sukti in front of him. Univar over on the right, or Nasi as it says on the screen. Hansen on the right. Univar's over on the left. I do know my left from my right. Ignore that. And then Hoye starting up front in a pretty rare advanced forward position for him, just because obviously normally it's been Ignacio Vargas, but he's too tired to start this match, so we're having to rotate a little bit. It's not really the month we wanted to be rotating because we got these important games. It's just the way it's fallen that all of our players like Vargas they decided to be tired against Stoke City, which we really do need to be winning. But we're just going to have to do it with a slightly rotated team. I'd say that, I guess, actually, if we're looking at this team, Hoye is probably the only one that is actually rotated in with Vargas out, because everyone else is pretty much the team we would be playing. I don't think there's many changes we make in there. Hakanason maybe doesn't play, and maybe Kofod plays in there instead, but we'd actually be preferring, both of them are available to play today. We're just preferring Hakanason, as we've just paid quite a lot of money for him. He's our most expensive signing since we've been at Stoke, and he's obviously got a lot of room to improve. Sukti's just cleared that one pretty much off the line, and now Vangelis has gone and nicked the ball back off of a Stoke City player, and he's just skinned another. Now he's played it into Hoye. Can Hoye do something here? Holds it up long enough to pass it out to Hansen. Hansen, that's pretty wasteful, to be honest. Has a shot. He was never going to score from there. There was about 3 defenders surrounding him. And to be honest, he's just wasted that. We would have been better holding up the ball and waiting for some support, waiting for, you know, maybe a Sakete to run down the right and pick up that ball. But it was a good move. It was just a pretty poor decision-making there by Hansen, in my opinion. And now we have Stoke City with a start of their highlight from a goal kick. Oh, Levi Colwill. I'd love to bring him to the team. Levi Colwill is absolute quality, especially in FM, and especially the further you get into a save. Vangelis here in the centre of the park, plays that one forward. Liddington going to get on the end of it. There's a cross into the box, looking for Hansen. Hansen is denied there by Levi Colwill, and it is now recycled by our midfield. Sakete over on the right. Can he get a cross into the box here? He can't, but he is going to hold it up and play it all the way back to one of our 2 central defenders, Sukti. Vangelis now. Univar has a shot. It is just wide. That's a lot better from us, though. Once again, we are struggling against any of these teams that are sort of in the top 6, with the exception of that West Brom match we had recently where we won 3-0. But that was definitely not kind of the done thing. The done thing with us against this top 6 is to just struggle a little bit, and we grind out results against them when we need to. Like today might just be a case where if we get a quick goal somewhere, and then we just don't concede, and we grind out that result rather than looking emphatic champions. But then that's Ballard has just dillied around on that ball there, just dilly-dallied around on it. And we're very lucky there that Pettersson makes a really, really good save, pushes it out for a corner. If we can just not concede from here now, that would be great. And there we go. There is our goalkeeper, our absolute talisman between the sticks, coming out to claim that one. We are being told by our assistant manager to have a look at Liddington because he's looking tired. So Jan-Erik Rek can come on for him. I think everyone else at the moment looks relatively all right. So we'll just confirm that one substitution. Let's not upset things too much, and we encourage the team as well as we head into the last 25 to 30 minutes of this. It is Stoke with a free kick, and we've got very lucky there as well that one sails over. So that weird little jump edit that I'm not sure how this is going to look in the editing, but that weird little jump edit is because I had to stop recording because dogs started barking and needed feeding, and my daughter ran downstairs. I don't literally remember what I was saying directly before this, which is 10 seconds ago if you're watching. So I know I was making substitutions. We've brought on Farmer Matete and Jan-Erik Rek. I think that was all we were looking at. I mean, the thing I am noticing as well is Hoye not really a natural striker. Although he's meant to be, he's not really a natural striker. So actually, maybe we put Farmer on there. And can we put anyone over here? No, because then we've got anyone over here. Oh, you guys are annoying. So we have to put him over here. Do we have anyone we could bring on instead of Hoye? I mean, yeah, actually, hold on. Hold the phone. We're going to put Vangelis up here because he actually does score goals. So we'll put him there and tell him to ease off the tackles, which means we can then take Hoye off and we can bring on Magnus Kofod in front of the new boy, Hakanarason, and those two can play together. Right, I think that kind of sorts it. Vangelis is going to come on now like a wonder sub. He's going to score a goal. I'm going to be vindicated in my decision, and we're going to win 1-0 against Stoke, or they're going to burst through here and score. There is no other options. If they don't score here, we're going to go up the other end and we're going to score, and we're going to win the game. They haven't scored here yet. Oh, jeez. Rhett, can you just clear that up the other end? That would be lovely. He's going to play out with the ball instead. Vangelis is now looking tired. The moment I've put him up front, he now looks knackered. He also hasn't even attempted to win that ball, though he has won it back there very, very temporarily. We have just about managed to regain possession there. Now we are bringing the ball forward. It is Anderson trying to play in Vangelis. It's cut out, but Vangelis goes back and now wins the ball over to Farmer. Farmer into Univar, who does get a shot off, but it's a poor shot. Let's be honest. It's a poor shot, and apparently it was offside anyway, so it wouldn't have made a huge amount of difference. What can we do here? I think Sakete comes off. We'll bring on Casanova. Realistically, is anything going to happen in the next 5 minutes, though? It's possible. Farmer down to Matete here. Cittadini making his debut, as we mentioned. Anderson over to Univar. Univar is in the box. Can he square it? He can. Vangelis, you just need to put your foot through that. Just absolutely needed to wallop that ball rather than doing what he did, which is just kind of tap it. Tapping it didn't cut it. That was the chance. That was the chance that I mentioned that Vangelis was going to score and make us win this game. And instead, he really didn't hit that hard enough. It does mean, again, we are still top of the league at the end of the episode. I am very aware, though, that Sheffield United haven't played yet. And you'd expect them to win theirs. So it might be now that we're dropping off top of the league. And that is less than ideal. Let's just see what happens for the rest of deadline day then. Adam Davies is going to come over. I don't think anyone's going to be leaving the club. The only people we want to get rid of, really, and there's only 1 hour remaining, so definitely nothing going to happen now. I was going to say there is a couple of players that we wouldn't mind offloading, and those are basically Jack Clark, just because he wants to leave. Also, Quinones is now complaining that he's not going to get enough game time, even though he only just joined the club. Adam Davies looks pretty decent. I think we take that. I mean, he can play up front. He covers the right. And, he's interesting. I mean, we're going to stick with Vargas. Like 100% we're sticking with Vargas because he's our boy. And I don't think we're ever going to be able to afford this guy, at least not for a good few seasons. But he's going to be an interesting rotation option. But anyway, back to what I was saying. Jack Clark, we wouldn't mind getting rid of. Patrick Roberts, we're still trying to get rid of. I mean, he doesn't play in the team now. He hasn't made any appearances all season at all. So we quite like him to leave. But no one wants him. Just no one wants him. So we're just going to have to let him run down his contract, really, for the rest of this season. Right, so what can we do here? Can we register all of our players? It does look like it. So the ones we haven't got registered are under 25s. Adam Davies isn't registered. But that's fine, because realistically, we've got players here that we don't really need in the team, because a lot of these are guys like Patrick Roberts doesn't need to be registered at all. We're going to leave him registered because there's no reason not to, but we don't need him. We'll just ask somebody to welcome Adam Davies as well. And I think that's probably going to be the end of the transfer window, because I don't see anything happening in the next 45 minutes. It doesn't. That's now the end of the transfer window. Beautiful stuff. We've spent all of our money. We've got £231,000 left. In terms of the wage budget, we've got about £16,000 left. So it's very unlikely that we do anything now before the summer transfer window. But we're doing well so far this season. I mean, we're targeted at working within the wage budget. We're doing that. Apparently, we're growing the club's reputation as well, which is good. All of this they're happy with. The supporters are happy. The board's happy. We're happy. And now we just need to turn our attention to the month of February. I think for the month of February, we probably play through this. We've got an FA Cup fourth round. I mean, if we get deep into the FA Cup, it's worth seeing. But at the moment, fully focused on the league. So we come back for that match against Middlesbrough and the match against Blackpool at the start of March, by which point we'll see where we are and how important it is to come back for those other games. Maybe it's just the last two of the season. Maybe there's a bit more of a run-in, depending on whether we look like we're going to be winning the league or not. If you have enjoyed today's episode, though, and you are enjoying this part of the series with Sunderland, then please do drop a like down below, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and thank you for watching.